And we're now down at the start of the diamonds.
Both crews gone off very well. There's quite a lot of space. It's so much different in the eighth tier. There's no coxes making noise. It's silence when they go off in these single sculls. So Hrvat from Slovenia, who's a lightweight, and Runge from the German crew of Hansa Hamburg. And both scullers are middleweight sort of weight. Hrvat is at 12 stone at the moment, but he is a lightweight who has competed at World Cups. And he's done very well this year.
And Henrik Runge from the Hansa Hamburg club in Germany, who was very successful as a German junior. He won the junior men's quad at the World Junior Championships in 2014 and silver in the junior men's single scull in 2015. He'll be stepping up to under 23s this year, and we know that there are a couple of under 23 crews who are going to the World Championships in Rotterdam later in the year, competing at Henley. The World Championships for both the juniors and the under 23s are quite a lot later this year, actually happening after the Olympic Games at the end of August. So this is a really good opportunity to come to Henley and race against some really top quality competition from around the world. So I think it's a smart move for some of those under 23 and junior crews who are going to those championships later on in the year to come here for a real hit out during their peak rowing season.
I agree, and it's great because it doesn't impinge on their performance or their development, because they normally have to race under 23s 2 weeks later. But it is something that people should do as part of their rowing career, and it gives them the opportunity to come here and actually compete in a good crew. So it's about a length or so to the Slovenian, who's this year at the World Cups, he's 4th, 2nd and 3rd in the European Championships. He's done really very well in the lightweight division, but the German sculler here, I think he's starting to put some pressure on him.
So the German sculler just with an ever so slight lead, but we see a push now coming from the Slovenian. He's starting to make a sprint. This is where the moves have to happen. We know that once you get down to the enclosures that it's incredibly hard to make a move, but look at this push coming from the Slovenian now.
Amazing.
He's moved up his rate. He knows this is his chance, but the German sculler, he doesn't have an answer. Henrik Runge from Hamburg, he can't quite get there.
He really can't. He's put a lot of effort into staying ahead of him, and actually the lightweight sculler now, he's just moving through him, isn't he? Yeah, the bouncy water, the lightweight sculler is just really staying on top of it, and he's within 15-20 strokes. He's taken a couple of lengths off him. That
was a huge push there. A lot of strategy in that move. Do you think that perhaps he would have been with his coach beforehand and thought, you know, where am I going to do this? Where can I get this sculler? He obviously knows that the German sculler is a top quality athlete, and I guess this race more than probably any other is such a, as we said, such a psychological battle.
It really is. And traditionally the heavyweights would have more power, they would get a lead, and then I know when I raced against lightweights, they never give up. They stick off your stern and stay there and stay there and stay there, and he just stayed there, and he, I guess he might have sensed his moment and just went for it. So yeah, there we go. Umpire not having to do any work. You can see by the 3/4 mile post marker at the background, it's half a length at that point, but I think the margin is greater.
We can see now the German sculler on the right of your screen in the Barks station. He is making a little push, but it won't be enough. It looks like the Slovenian, he's not dying at all. That push hasn't cost him. It was a very well thought through tactical plan, and it's paid dividends here as he's driving towards the enclosures. No sign of easing up.
And as you can see, if you look at their knees when they're sculling coming forward, you can see how unsettling the water is. And it's really difficult in the smaller boats to manage the bounce from all the cruisers going down in the stream. And he's coping with that really very well. He's still managing to get the pressure on the front of the stroke, even though his body and everything's moving in the wash.
It is incredibly difficult. You can see the movement in the water, as you say. Looking at the knees gives you an indication of having to make those small adjustments consistently, not just from stroke to stroke, but during the stroke as well. You can see the little roll in the water. It is a tough course. It's such an incredible piece of water to row on. Not only the pleasure craft and other boats and umpires' boats and you know, craft that are moving up and down the river, but just the movement of that river itself. And we know that the more often that crews come here and race here, the better they get, and generally the more success they have.
It does make a difference. A lot of I was speaking to some of the foreign crews arriving here for the first time, and they were shocked by how, in brackets, terrible the water was, because it's so lively and they expect it to be calm. And they were hoping that it would get better during racing, but it really doesn't. It just stays the same the whole week.
But we can see a great performance here from the Slovenian sculler. He made a very decisive move about halfway down the track to take about 3 lengths really off the German sculler, who was leading for the first half of the race.
And I mean, he's showing his quality, isn't he? He's a silver medalist from the World Championships last year, and you can see it in the way he's handled this race.
A tough matchup, but it's only going to get tougher in this event. We know that the Olympic champion Mahe Drysdale is here, so it's not going to get any easier from this point.
There you see the contrast between the racing crews and the pleasure crews.
As we come down to the finish now of the Diamond Challenge Sculls, it will be Hrvat from Slovenia who will take the win over the German sculler Runge from the Hamburg club in Germany. As we see the Slovenian sculler there, a great win in the Diamond Challenge Sculls.